listening to Tech Tip Thursday. It's great to have you here today. My job today is easy because I'm not as much of an expert as Jeff is on setting up the Fathom website. So we're all going to learn from Jeff Larson. Jeff is our district director in our Orem office, and so he has prepared kind of a step-by-step that will hopefully help you to get your Fathom website set up, because I know there's a lot of questions. So at any point in time, I'm going to mute everybody, and at any point in time that you have a question, please feel free to unmute yourself and then ask your question. We certainly want to make sure that we get your questions answered. So without further ado, I'm going to turn the time over to Jeff.
Thanks, Don. And you guys are welcome to throw questions in the chat box as well, if that's easy.
I thought you were going to say throw tomatoes at me, or you know,
I'm showing that your recording
Don.
is paused, Don.
What's
I'm
that?
showing your recording is paused. Can you just double check your recording?
It is on. It's recording. I promise you it's not paused. It shows that it's recording.
Okay.
We will go. All right, so today we're going to go through websites. Let me get a screen share going here. Get that out of the way. Going to go through our websites and kind of how to set those up basics. Feel free to ask questions. I'll try to go slow, but because I know what I'm doing, sometimes I tend to go a little faster than I should. So just yell at me, tell me that I'm not doing it the way you need, and we'll get it done. All right, so your website setup, let me just first go through and show you two websites. So I just happened to be on Laurie's this morning looking at it. And so this is what your website will look like just out of the box. No customization at all. Haven't done anything to it. When you sign up with Fathom, it gets turned on, and this is what it looks like. So you'll have, you know, a search box here at the top. You can message the agent here, some information about different pieces of the company, and then calculate what your home's worth. And then you'll see at the bottom for her, by default, the North Carolina address is populated along with the 800 number and the email address for Fathom. And these links also go to the Fathom Realty. So that's just out of the box.
She's so bad.
This is my site that I customized.
Jeff, I'm going to mute everybody, and it might mute you. So
Way to go. Okay.
Okay.
All right, I'm back.
Thank you, Jeff.
So this is my site that I've customized a little bit. I haven't gone into great detail on it, but you can see I've added a what's your home worth. You can put the address in here, a featured property carousel that scrolls across. Featured property communities, I've added a couple there by zip code and by city. Testimonials, and then these same information cards, my name and to message me. And then you can see at the bottom, I've customized so that it has my information so that they can get hold of me. And so we'll go through how to set this up and how to do each of these. This is going to be a very basic overview, but there, I'll link at the end. I'll put a link in for everybody for a YouTube video for an IntelliAgent directly from Fathom, a training on websites, so that you can get to that. So to get to your website customization, you'll log in to IntelliAgent just like you would to go in and enter a transaction and do what you would normally do. And then you'll go down to this websites area here. Now it's possible if you onboarded with iPro, it's possible that this didn't get set up for you. And when you first click into here, you're going to see a button that says create a website. And all you need to do is click that and create the website, and then you'll end up looking exactly like this. Now on this website, it shows what the website is for you personally. So yours will obviously not be Jeff Larson, but it will have a different starting point, and it's .fathom fathamrealty.com. And then the site title, this is what you will name your site and what it looks like. You can see up here in my tab, that's what the name of my site is, right? And so this is what goes in the tab for your information for your site. Who it's assigned to should be you unless you work on a team, and then you can assign it to a team member if you want. How many leads have been generated by that, and the date that that website was created. So to customize it from here, you just click on it and it will bring you in to show all of the things here on the left-hand side. Your menu, your posts, testimonials, your team, property carousels, community pages, website settings, view website, and the help center.
Jeff, go back
Yep.
over what you clicked to get from the previous page to the page you're on.
All you do is click right here, anywhere in this box. So when you're on this page, you just click that and it will bring you right in. Okay, and that'll bring you directly in to show what pages you currently have active on your site. I'm gonna skip way down the list here because a lot of this is stuff that you'll set up later. But we'll come back to it at the end of the call today. But the first thing that you need to set up is your website settings. And this is where you'll set up the main information for your website and what people will see. So if you go into website settings, the first thing that comes up is that part of your website, right? So if I were to look at my website, you can see it's jefflarson.fathamrealty.com. And that's what this part is right here, jefflarson.fathamrealty.com. Now, it may show if, like my name, when I populate in, it's Jeffrey Larson, my full legal name. And so that's what was originally here. You can change this. You can change it to anything you like. If you want to say Utah County Homes, whoops. I can't spell today. Utah County Homes, and that's what you want as the first part of your URL, you can do that. You can make it your name. You can make it really whatever you want as long as it's not currently being used by another Fathom agent. When you change that, you would click Save Changes here, and that would change what this is up above. Currently, you can only have one website like this, and so you've got to pick one name. I've heard that in the future, we'll be allowed to add more website, more URLs to our domains, but at this point, you just have the one. Okay, and I'm not going to change this. I'm just going to leave it there. Vanity domain. And so Sharon brought up that she has her own website name. I do as well, sellbyutah.com. And you can go in and put a request in here. You would put in, and then you would send the request, whatever your vanity domain is that you've bought. Now this is, you can't buy the domain through here. So if you have a new one that you've thought of and you want to have SharonSellsHomes.com, but you haven't bought this URL, you can't do that here. You have to go to one of the sites that sell those, GoDaddy, Google Domains, whatever it is, right? And purchase that URL there if it's available. And then from there, you could send the request from here. This basically sends it into the team at Fathom for them to look at and approve and say that it meets their standards. The other way that you can do this without having to go this direction is to forward it directly, excuse me, directly from your domain manager. So for example, I use Google Domains to purchase my domains. And you can see Sell by Utah down here is forwarded to jefflarson.fathamrealty.com. Now I have this other one, utahsbestlistings.com. It's still pointing to my iPro Realty Network page, the free one that I had there. And so I would need to go in here while I'm in Google Domains and update that to actually point to this same address. And I won't show you how to do that. That's a little more advanced, but if you need help doing that, feel free to give me a call and I can help you through on most of the domains that you can purchase.
Jeff, I have a question at this point.
Yep.
I I selected a vanity domain yesterday. And right now on my screen, it's shown as active.
That means it's been approved by them.
Okay, and the site title is the same.
Correct?
So now on the staging domain, under staging domain and organization domain, it's gray boxes like you have shown. Is it activate? Do I need to activate the staging domain?
You do not. No, you can just leave it just like
Okay.
this, just like mine is.
Okay, now, if when I go to view website, it says the site can't be reached.
So when you go to your view website, it's currently showing site can't be reached.
That's correct.
Most likely that's because when you are in your domains whether it's with GoDaddy, is that who you purchased with?
Yes,
So with GoDaddy, you would need to go into GoDaddy's site and do the same thing, where you would forward your domain to whatever your Fathom Realty one is
okay.
in this staging domain area.
So I have to essentially go to GoDaddy, like you just explained. Okay,
Yep, and update it
Okay.
there.
all right, thank you.
You're welcome. Other questions at this point?
So Jeff, just one thing, you guys hear Jeff saying that you will need to point, your vanity domain to whatever your assigned domain was by Fathom. We all have an assigned domain name that Fathom gave us. And so mine is donzimmerman.fathomrealty.com. And so my vanity name, I had to point my assigned name to my vanity name so that when people put in either of those, it will go to my vanity domain. Okay, so that's what he's talking about when he says you'll have to point it to your vanity domain, because you already have a domain name assigned to you. And so you have to utilize that to make sure that you're pointing it the right direction to the right vanity.
Right, and that's this part. You'll see, in fact, I'll go back. This is when you first click on websites here. This is your domain right here that you're going to point to. And so that's the one that's you'll have whichever one's assigned to you. And like I showed here in website settings, you can change that if you don't like the one that you were assigned. Okay, coming down to the next section. The next section is the site title, and that's the part that will go in your tab for your website. And so whatever you put in here, that will update here to be whatever you want it to say. So you can pick and choose whatever you want it to say there. Coming down to the next one, this is tracking, and this is again an advanced topic, and so we won't really cover this, but if you know what it is, if you know your Facebook pixel and how to use it, you would put it in here. Your Google Analytics ID, you would put it in here. Your Live By ID, and that's for tracking people who come to your page and how they function on your page. And so if you have that, you can put that in here. And then the bottom section of this is where you'll put in your social media information. And so I've just put in the Fathom Realty ones. You can put in obviously your Facebook page. You need to have the full URL and not just your @ So for example, my Instagram handle is jeff.the.realtor. I can't just put in that. That won't work. You actually have to put in the full Instagram URL for it to work. Same with Twitter, and then YouTube and LinkedIn, obviously. So you'll want to make a full URL link there to whatever your social media pages are. These social media pages and all of that information show up down here. So that's where those links will show up on your page at the bottom under your information. So that's the general. The appearance tab. So at the top of this, you can see Again, this is Laurie's site. You can see that all of her buttons and everything are red. The bottom is red. And that's the default color that you'll have. If you don't like red, yesterday, just for this class, I changed everything to blue. And so you can see that my buttons are blue and the bottom of my page is blue. And you can put in whatever color you want. You can pick a color, you can put in a hex code or an RGB color. So you can change that and customize it to your own liking. These two logos, this logo appears on any dark page, any dark background, and this logo appears on any light background, okay? And you can change those if you don't like them, but obviously they need to be Fathom Realty logos. So I would just tell you to leave them default. That's going to be your best bet there. Your favicon, this is this little button up here in the tab, that little icon right there. You can see that it's different depending on the site that you go to. If you wanted a custom favicon, you could create one and upload it here and have a little tiny picture of Don Zimmerman, for example, whatever you wanted to put there. I just like the Fathom one, and so I've left it there. And then these last two sections are, again, an advanced topic for custom CSS code and custom JavaScript code. If you know what you're doing, you can do that. Or if you need to copy and paste it in from another site to put that into your site, you can put those two things in here. This next section is an important one. This information here is what shows up right here in the bottom, right? And so by default, on Laurie's page, if you remember, by default, it just shows Fathom Realty and the North Carolina info and phone number. When you first go into your website, or if you don't customize it at all, that information is going to be here. So you can go in and put in your phone number, your email address, what your business name is. If you have a team name or something different that you would like to put here, you can put whatever your business name is, and then the address that you would like to show on your web page. I currently have it as the Orem office. You could have it as your home address or business address that you use for receiving mail, whatever you would like to put there. But it's obviously very important that you update this in case anybody's trying to contact you from your page. To have that information here is important.
And Jeff, where do you get the registered trademark for Realtor and that when doing that? Because you have to include that. So if you just type in Realtor, it's not going to automatically come up with that registered trademark symbol.
Yeah,
Where did you get that?
Yeah, so you'll Google, depending on what you're on. I'm on Mac OS, for example. Just Mac OS trademark symbol or Windows trademark symbol, and it will give you the key codes on how to do that. So for example, option R is the trademark symbol on a Mac. Option G is the registered symbol for a Mac. So if you'll just Google that, it will come up and it'll tell you for Windows or Mac OS how to type that into the box.
Or could I throw out there, I just go Google Realtor and find it somewhere else, highlight it, cut, paste.
Yeah,
Very simple.
NAR has a kind of a whole series of those that you can use. So cut and paste can work too.
Yep, great tip. Thank you. Other questions before I move on? Okay. Default pages, once you get more into your website, if you want to have default pages for your team, and I'll go a little more over what team means, your testimonials page or your posts page, which would be your blogs page, you can go in and select a custom page for that, where you want those to go. Disclaimers, if you need something for your market in the disclaimers section, we aren't required in Utah to have anything, but if for some reason you have a disclaimer that you need at the bottom of every page, you can put that disclaimer in this text area. So MAP has two important things that need to be done here. One of them doesn't currently work, and the other is important. The first one is this map. what's supposed to happen is when you set this map to any given point, so currently I can set it so that Pleasant Grove is the starting point of my map. That's what is supposed to be there when I go to a property search. That's where this map is supposed to start. And it's not currently working, but that's what it's supposed to do. So I would still set it so that once it gets fixed, it will actually go to the area that you want your clients to start searching in.
Do
If
you know
want a
why
very-
it's not working?
I don't know why. It's one of the things I made a list as I went through this tutorial, things I need to check with Fathom on.
So I haven't talked to Scott about it yet.
No, I'll talk to him. So you can make it as wide as you want. If you want to have the whole state of Utah on your map to start out with, that's fine. Or if you want to zoom into just southern Utah, you could do that. Really, however you want your map position to start, this is where you set that. And then this one is extremely important. So it says the property views allowed before registration. And you can pick from never, they don't ever have to register on your site, to immediate, they can't view anything until they register on your site, to any of these numbers. I went to 10 because I think it's good for them to be able to look around the site before they have to register. I felt like 50 was way too many. So I went with the next number down. And what that basically does is they're allowed to come in and click on a property and look at it up to the number of times you have there before a page will pop up and ask them to put in their name and email information to register on your site so that they can save their properties there. So on mine, they could click on 10 different properties, and on the 11th property, when they click on it, it would pull up that registration link. So you can decide how you want that to function on your site. If you want it to be never, so they're never forced to, or if you want to go all the way to 50. Question? Okay. The last one is leads. And leads functions off of campaigns, and campaigns is in your marketing section. If you go back here into your marketing section of your IntelliAgent. And I won't go over campaigns and what they are, but basically it would be a drip email campaign in order for you to touch base with people, right? And so once you have those campaigns set up, you can set up a totally different campaign for each of these different things. So when somebody registers, what their campaign would be, what emails they would receive. If they request property information, what that would look like, what emails they would receive, or if they click on the Contact Us button, what emails they would receive. And so as you set up those campaigns in your CRM, you can then link that to how people register once they're on your site. So that's a general overview of website settings. Any questions on these before I move on? Okay. So let me show you two things. I should have shown you this one first, but this button here, view website, that's how you can easily get to your website. It will pop it up, show you your website. So if you're ever not sure how to get there, that's how you can do that very easily. The second one is the Help Center. There is a lot of stuff here. If you go down to websites, there are a ton of videos here, as you can see, on how to do each of the things that we'll cover today just very lightly. But these each have a video that goes in and talks exactly about those and how to do them and what those look like. And so if you have questions, you can go through and do that. The one thing that I found today is that there's also a link today if you don't want to do any of this by yourself. Georgia will throw this link for you in the chat, but this service, we've been asked this a couple of times, but this service will go through and customize your site for you so you don't have to do anything at all. They do charge $3.99 as a one-time fee. I assume from there that they will just go back and fix it and change it as much as you want. And there's testimonials and it shows what they've done with different sites and how to order. So if that interests you, that is available in the link that will be in. Georgia's put that in the chat for you. Okay, next I'm going to go in reverse order back up the page so that you can see what each of these things are. And then we'll look at pages and how to build a custom one and how to change the pages that you have. So community pages. Community pages is a way that you can put on your website something that will allow people to click on it and show the properties in that area. So for example, on my site, my communities that I currently have set up is the zip code 84003. It has 202 properties in it. Orem has 140 properties. South Jordan has 258 properties. And if someone were to come to my site and click on that, it would pull up all of the properties in Orem and allow people to go through and look at those. Okay, and so you can customize this. Again, if you just create a new community page, let's do St. George. Guess it doesn't like St. George, which is weird. What's your zip code down there, Bill? You're muted.
84770 and 84790 are the two main ones.
So we'll do 84770. And then it asks you, and you can put in obviously any city you want, any zip code that you want. And then it asks you to put a background picture on here. So you can just pick any background picture, drag it in and drop it on top. And then click add.
Where do you get those background pictures from?
They're very easy to find. The best way to do it is just go to Google and search something like house for sale and go to your images. And there's a whole bunch there. The thing that I use is a service that allows for stock photos. It's called Deposit Photos, but it's a paid service. But these are free. You can use those. So kind of however you want to do it. If you want to go take pictures, you can do that. Whatever you want to do there.
Jeff, there's also another website called Pexels, P-E-X-E-L-S.
Yep. Pexels is great.
It's a free website. It's a great website for if looking for pictures.
Perfect. Thank you. And so you can see that this is now updated and added 84770 into my list of community pages. If I go back to my website now and refresh it, you can see that 84770 has now been added. Right, so it's easy to add these communities. You can add as many as you want. If you want to add all the communities in all of Utah, you're welcome to do that. It just makes for a very long page. I would suggest that you add the communities that you work in the most in this area. So add as many as you want. If you don't want one, so for example, I don't want St. George on my page anymore, I can just click this delete button and it will get rid of it.
Mhm.
Jeff, I'm noticing that you cannot add by county, only
Correct.
city, zip code, or school.
You can't even add by school that I can tell right now.
Okay.
So for example, if I were to type in Lone Peak, nothing comes up. It will say Utah County, Utah here, but it doesn't actually work. It comes up with 0 properties in any county that you add. So you can really only add by city or by zip code. Those are your two choices right now. And some of those, like you saw, St. George doesn't work.
If the city doesn't populate, or you don't have the city that you're looking for as a choice, and so you don't have it come up in the drop down menu, can you put in the city and the zip code so that on the page it'll show St. George 84770?
No. So you have to pick from this drop down button in order for it to work. So
Okay,
if I were to put St. George,
try without the period.
oh, see that work.
There it is.
So it's there. But I could not put, let me take that back out. and now it broke. So I could not put and have that work. When I hit enter, it just defaults back to the zip code only.
Okay, okay. I was
Okay.
thinking just, so on your webpage, it doesn't just show the zip code, it shows the city.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't customize what this says. It's whatever's currently in the drop-down box, whatever you pick, that's what it's going to say. So those are your choices currently. If you've created one, let's say that I created this 84003 zip code one, and I want to change that, you just click this pencil button here, and that will bring it up. You can take that out and put a different zip code in, or you could change the picture. I can go in and crop the picture if I want a certain area of it to be on only. I can change that. I can rotate the picture. I can flip the picture. So if you wanted to do anything with the picture itself, you could do that. So that's
Hey.
community pages.
Jeff,
Yep.
okay, I just added a community page just for the heck of it.
Yeah.
And then I click the button that says add page, but I still don't see it on the website.
Yeah, so I'll show you how to get that onto your website. All this does is set it up as what will be there once you get ready to add it to a custom page.
Got it.
So this is the precursor to adding it to the pages up here at the top, and that's why we're working backwards so that we have these already populated to use in our pages as we set those up. So the second part, the second one up is property carousels. And property carousels is this part right here, this part that scrolls across. You can have it scroll across, or you can have it be static, whichever version that you want. And so when you go in, you can create, again, as many custom property carousels as you want. What you're doing here is setting up the search criteria for those properties that are going to be on the page that you decide to do. I have one currently already set up. I set this up as a very broad one. You can see it goes from St. George to South Jordan to Orem. It's basically the entire state of Utah and all properties. So that's how this currently is set up. But you can set up however you want. Let me go through one for you. So you would create a property carousel here. And that brings up your search criteria. So this is just like you would do a normal search properties on your MLS. You can go through. I will tell you not to set up your search name first. It's easier if you go through and set up the rest of this, and then that will help you determine what you want to call it. If you're in multiple MLSs, you can use the MLS to search whichever one you want. You cannot search multiple MLSs. So if I'm part of the St. George MLS and part of Wasatch Front, I can't search both of those combined. I have to search one or the other. Let's do this one as condos. So I can select condos, but I want to do condos and I want to do townhouses in this one. So you can pick multiple. Property status. So this is going to maybe be different in your thinking compared to what it is on some MLSs. You have active, which is obvious. Active under contract for Wasatch Front would be active TC. And then pending is under contracts and sold. So those are the statuses that you can choose from. I just want actives. And then you can set your prices, your bed and baths, how many square feet, the year it's built from, or built to, the year that the home was built. Your location, you can narrow down by state. So if I wanted to do a state here, I could. You can narrow down by county. In this one, I'm just going to use a city. So I'll use Orem. You could use a zip code. You could use a subdivision if you want to use a specific subdivision, or a major area, and that's broken down in the My MLS by different major areas of the MLS. So that's what you can use for location. Features, architectural style, type of home, pools, yes, no, all of those kind of things. If you want to search a specific school district, you can do that. And then if you want to set up a property carousel for just foreclosures or just short sales, Waterfront properties is going to be fairly difficult in our markets, but I guess you could do that. Agent IDs, an MLS number, and office IDs don't currently work, and that's one that I need to check with Fathom on to see how we can set those up. This would be so that if you wanted to feature just your properties, right, you could do an agent ID or just certain MLS numbers, or if I wanted to just show in this property carousel only Fathom Orem properties, I could do that. Okay. And I'll see what we need to do to get those fixed. And then waterfront description, obviously we're not going to be a waterfront. So in this one, I have set up just Orem, all condos and townhouses that are active. So when I name my search, I would just name it Orem townhouse or condo. And then I could save my search. Now you can see that the map has zoomed in to show me those properties. I could click on any property to see the information for it, just to make sure that my search is giving me what I want. I can also go over to properties and see a list of the properties that are going to be on my carousel, in case I need to double check that I got my search right. And then once you're all done and you know that you've got it correct, you save your search. And that gets added to your property carousels. It's now one that I can use. Okay. And I'll show you how to add that to your pages as we get to the top. Okay, on your team. So teams are are two ways of thinking. Obviously, if you work with a team, you're in a team, then you would put your team members in here, and you could showcase them on any of your pages. The other thing that you can do if you're not on a team is use your team of your inspector, your lender, your home warranty person, your plumber, all of those people could be on your team, and you can add them into here with their name, email, phone number, so that you could showcase them as part of your team on your web page. It's a good idea if you want to set up a page like this so that it shows that it's not just you, and that you have a lot of people working behind you. You're welcome to put your district directors on there, or whoever else you have as support people, so that it shows that you have a great support team behind you as well. The way that you would do that, I can only show you partially because, again, part of this is broken, or at least it was a minute ago. You would just click create a team member. Tommy Taylor, and he's a plumber. I would put in his email address, his phone number.
Put in Don, he's a real person.
There you go. You can put in his bio, a photo. So let me grab a photo. And this is the part that's broken, by the way. And then a tag. And you do need to tag these. It's important that you tag them in some way, either as a vendor, in this case, or you could put a team member, whatever you want to call your tags. But it does need to have a tag here. In order for this to work on your page, they have to be tagged. So make sure when you see tags that you enter something in here in order to say what they are. And then you click add. We'll see if it's still broken. Yeah, you can see that the pictures aren't currently working on it. It breaks for some reason. So that's another thing I have on my list for them to look into. So the pictures aren't currently working, but that's how you would add all of your team members here until you have them. You could add several teams if you want to have different teams that are focused on.
And it added it twice.
That's because I clicked it twice. I wasn't very patient.
Okay, I got
My
it.
fault. User error on that one. Okay, the next one up is testimonials. And you can see that I have a few testimonials in here already. These do not auto-populate. It's something, currently they don't auto-populate. It's something that you'll have to do on your own. There is, they are working in the programming side to make it so that e-endorsements, which is part of your package with Fathom. The e-endorsements will auto-populate in here. So if you want to use e-endorsements, you can. I still use Google reviews, and that's my favorite. And so all I did was go in, when you create a testimonial, I put in the person's name, and then I copied and pasted over my review from Google and put it in here. Right. And then if you have a photo of them, you could do that, or a photo you want to use. And again, you'll need to tag them. In all of these cases, for a testimonial, I would assume that they're all going to be clients. So you could do that, but you could use whatever tags that you wanted to do, and make sure that you tag there. If you don't tag them, they won't be able to be added into your testimonials. Okay.
Jeff, on the tags, I'm working on the side of you. On the tags, my drop downs is showing nothing.
Yep, unless you've added a tag. So if I've added the tag client, right, so it shows up. But if I don't have it, then I can just name it whatever I want, right? So let's
Okay,
say
and then just
name
add it and it will
members.
come up. Okay,
Yep. So type it in, hit enter, and that will create that tag. And then from now on, that will be in your drop-down menu.
Your mother's name won't be real believed.
Right. Very true. So once you have all your testimonials, and you can have as many of those as you want, what that looks like on your page, you can have it look a couple of ways, and I'll show you how. But that basically on this one is a scrolling one that goes through and shows each testimonial. And then if they do view all testimonials, that brings you into the page that shows that testimonial. I'll have to take Don's off because that's not a real review, but maybe someday he'll give me a great job.
Give me a good one.
I would always give you a good review, Jeff.
All right, the last one before we get to pages is posts. And this is where if you do blog posts, that you would go in and create blog posts here. And so you have published and draft. Published are ones that they can see, and drafts are ones that they can't. And so you would just click create post. You would come in and give it a title, type in the information. You can put in pictures, you can put in links, all of the normal things that you would do as a blog post, you can put in here, just like you were using a Word document. You can copy and paste from Word if you want. You can copy and paste from HTML if you want. So however you want to get your blog post put together. Your status is here, the ones that I just showed. If you save it as draft, that means no one can see it yet. So if you want to type a whole bunch of blog posts ahead and then go back and slowly add them to your site as you have time to do that, you can, or you can just publish them right away. Registration required. If you check this box on your blog post, then anyone linking to that, when they go to view it, if it's this, then they automatically have to register immediately, regardless of what you have on your other page that shows about registration. So if you have a registration post that has a link in it to a download, this would be a great way for them to have to put in their information in order to get to that information or the download. Tags, again, it's important that you tag them. The post URL, this is the back end of what it would look like. So for example, on mine, jefflarson.fathomrealty.com, the back end of my testimonials is testimonials. If I want this blog post to be short sales, then I could type short sales in there. And then anyone who went to jefflarson.fathomrealty.com/short sale would get to this blog post. Type in the description. This description helps Google find it, and then the featured image. And you can change this image to whatever you want. Once you have those blog posts created, you would save it, and then you would be able to use it. All right, now I'm going to skip past menu and go to pages. And these are the pages that you currently have set up. Each of them, you can see what they look like by clicking the eye. And that will show you the page, just like you have it currently. You can delete it except for the home page. You're not allowed to delete your home. That always has to be there. Or you can edit it and change it. Okay. So to edit my home page, for example, I would just click on home and that will show me what's currently in that page. And let me show you each section so that you know what they are. So the first thing that I have is what's called a hero. The hero is this whole top part, right? This big picture, the search box, and the agents. And so that's what a hero is. The next one is home valuation. You can see that's my home valuation. The next one is property carousel, and I'll show you how to add all these. And when we talked about what property carousel is, so that's next on my list. The next one on my list is communities on my page, and that's my communities area. Testimonials, which I already showed you, just testimonials next. And then these are called cards. See cards. And then the bottom one is my call to action, the message me part. If I want to, I can reorder these in any way I want. So for example, let's say I want my call to action to be first. I would just click on it and drag it all the way up here so that it's the next one down, and then save that. And when I refresh my page here, you'll see that that message me is now at the top. Okay, so those can be reordered in any way that you want. Okay. Now, let's say that you want to create a page just from scratch, a brand new one, something that you have custom and you've decided to do. I will do that so that I can show you each of the ways, each of the boxes that you can use in your web page. Okay, so let's go through each one. This is a blank page, and if I preview it, I don't even know if I can as a blank page. Guess not. Oh, I can. Right, as a blank page, it's just going to say page not found, doesn't even exist. Okay. So you can add any of these blocks that are here on the side to a web page. The first one that I talked about was the hero. And when you drag that over and put it in, it allows you to pick which style you want. Okay, you can have any of these pictures, you can have information under it, you can have your picture and your information. So if I click that one, for example, it's going to say, what's the headline? And then I would put my profile picture in here, which I don't currently have, easily accessible, and a background picture. So we'll just pick that one for a background picture. My phone number. And then I would save that. And it's been very slow today. And then when I preview it, you'll see that that came up. That's now my background image that I picked, my picture of me that I would have picked. That's obviously not me. My name, I'm an agent, my phone number, and a message me button. So you could have that as your hero. Let's say that you don't like that as your hero. You could edit that and just go to the bottom here and pick a different style. Instead, I want this one. There's my full image. Save that. And then when I preview it, that changes over to just simply be this. All right, so that's very easy to customize those to whichever style you want. The next one is rich text. And this is simply if you want to add text to your page. So you can add text by itself. You can add text with a picture. So I will add text with a picture. And you can put in as much information as you want. You can put a headline or not. You don't have to put a headline if you don't want. And then you would type in here whatever you want to put. This is what rich text looks like. You can see it adds the picture. This is the headline if you want it. And then you could add a whole series of information here if you wanted to do that. Okay. The next one is cards. Cards are information that get linked to each area. You can pick cards that have no space in between, spaces in between, 2 cards in one row with text on the side, 3 cards. What this one looks like is this right here, right? And so each of these link to a different thing. Let's say that, for example, I want to do this one. My headline is going to be Join Fathom. Fathom is amazing, right? And then my headline, Fathom Careers. Join us for great commission. And then I would pick an image to put there and where this links to. So you can choose wherever you want to link to. Whoops, wrong one. And then if you want it to open in a new window when they click on it, you would do this. And if not, then you would just leave it blank. And then if you want more cards, you can add another card to it. So if and when it saves, which is not going to do, it will look like this. And then when you click on it, it will take you to a new page. By the way, this page, if you haven't been here, is amazing. fathomcareers.com/fathomlifeblog. It has all kinds of great information you can share with your clients. Good information for you is what's happening in the company in different areas. George is right there front and center. So got some great information here if you want to jump over there. Okay, so that's cards. It did finally save. If I preview that, you can see that that added that information here, and I could just click on it to go to the career site. Okay. The next one is the property carousel that I told you about. And this is, you can pick 2 styles. One is with 2 on it with buttons on the bottom, and the other is a slider. The slider is the one that I showed you that automatically slides. And so if I were to pick that one, I'm not going to put a headline in. And this is the part where you have to have that save search that we did before. So when you do the drop down, now I have 2 different ones that I could pick from because I've made 2 searches. In this case, I'll pick the Orem townhouse or condo that we just set up and save it. Now when I preview it,
Where did you drag that carousel to? Which,
I'll show you.
to the main page?
So here's what that carousel would look like with numbers at the bottom. I'm just on a regular page, right? But I could go back,
Oh,
and then go
custom
back
page.
to my home page. If I wanted to put a second property carousel in here, I could. So I would just drag it over on my home page, and let's say I want to put it here and use that condos one.
I see.
Now when I go back,
But I can't direct. If I go back to where the home page is, then that list of pages don't show.
so have you set up your property carousels?
I set up one just to try it. Mhm.
So in your property carousels, when you go to your home, you should be able to drag a property carousel from here over. Did you do that?
Well, I clicked on home and it doesn't show the carousels there. Oh, I see what you're saying.
You have to get it
But where
from
do
the
I,
right
where,
hand
where do
side.
you, where do you drag it to? Do you drag it to hero to call
So
to
what-
action? Or you drag it?
Whichever order you want it to be in.
Oh, I
So,
see. You just put it anywhere. Got
yeah.
it.
Okay. And so you can see now I have 2 property carousels on my page. I have one that is supposed to be townhouses and condos only in Orem, and one that is my featured broad one, right? And so I could name this and put something on it as well. Okay, let me go back to this other page. Lead capture is a great one if you want to get information from somebody. This is a good one. So you could set up a page that's a lead capture form only. I won't go through the details on that, but if you want to know how to do it, you would just come in, put this information in, put where you want them to go, who it's assigned to when they put in that information. And then once they submit it, that information will come to you. You could have them directly download something, a buyer guide, for example, or whatever lead magnet you want to use, and have a lead page. They're called squeeze pages, in order for them to come in and put their information in and gain leads off of your website. This again is a more advanced topic, but if you want to get into it, I'm more than happy to walk you through it, as are agent services or the individual trainings that you can do and set up, the small group trainings. The next one down is a call to action. And this is the one that looks like this: call to action, a message me button. And so when you add those, you're able to do that. Team, we talked about, if you wanted to have a team area that featured teams, you would put their information in here. And this is why it's important to tag this, because you can only pick one tag, right? So if I want to have my vendors here, then it would be my vendors. If I wanted to have my team members and I had another tag for team members, I would pick that. And then that will show you that information. So when I preview this, I've got my 2 Tommy Taylors in here, and normally it would have their picture. They could click through to this and get Tommy's information in order to contact him. Okay. We did teams. So testimonials is the one that I already showed you, and testimonials, you can pick between 2 styles. The style that I have, that's the bigger one, and it's a slider, or the full page, which has all of the testimonials on one page, all linked with, or all full testimonials there. I prefer this one that links to a testimonial page. You can pick whichever one you want. And so you would pick that style. And then again, you have to pick the tag that you've tagged them with. So I can't say enough times how important tags are when you set everything up. So you would set up that you want your clients there. And when I preview this, that's going to look a lot like the one on my homepage, except it didn't update. I think I broke it. Nope, it updated. There you go. That's the testimonials part. Featured posts. This is where you set up your blog post. So you could set up a page with all of your blog posts in it. You can put which posts you want. Obviously, I don't have posts here, but you could select as many posts as you want, or you could just have one page with one post here as a squeeze page where they would come in and be required to sign up. And then from there, you would get that lead. Home valuation is the one that is right here. I'll show you, if you're familiar at all with Zestimates. This is my particular home. For some reason, about a month ago, I dropped in value by over 100%. So I don't know. I don't know why this information is, or where it gets pulled from, but that's the home value information. It's not a lead source, so they don't have to fill out anything, but they could just get basic information about their home through this, through putting their information in. And then communities. Communities is the one that we set up before. that shows the different communities. And so you could pick which way you want it to look. Pick a style. And this goes for all of your communities, and it would show just like it does here, where it's got your 3 communities or however many communities you have set up with their pictures. Okay. And then our last one is one that we won't cover, and that's an HTML code block. If you know how to code, you can go in and customize your code as detailed as you want, or you can copy and paste HTML code from another site and put it in, and that will bring in that custom code and put your page to that situation. Once you have your page all set up, you'll go to settings. You can set it as draft, which means that you're just working on it, and that's how you want it set as you're working on it. Once it's ready to go, you would do published, and then you would name the page. Now, you can name the page different than the URL, but you have, if I put the URL in here, let's say I want this to be short sales. You'll see that it's called custom page, but the path to it is short sales. So now this is going to be an ugly page, but when I go to jefflarson.fathomrealty.com/short sales, that's the page that I created, right? All it's got on it currently is the property carousels. Okay, so that's a custom page that I just barely made. And I can edit that as many times as I want. I can change it, I can add to it. In your custom settings, you can add what the page is. The meta description, this is what information Google uses to find it. And then a featured image if you want to use that as well. Okay. Transparent header, you won't use, and registration required. If you want them to have to go, let's just do this, have to register when they go to that page. You can see that as soon as I go to that page, it makes me put in my information to be able to get to that page and use it. So if you wanted to use that as a lead magnet, you could. And then lastly is the menu. And this is the menu that's at the top of your pages up here. You can set that to be whatever you want. Currently, this is what's in my menu. So property searches, mortgage, Fathom offers, selling and buying. If I wanted to put custom page 1 over, I would just take it over and drag it here. Obviously, I would want to name it something different than custom page 1, but I could add that to my page and then save pages. And you'll see that when I update my page, oh, it didn't add it. It's supposed to add it right here. Oh, there it is.
There it did.
So custom page 1. Okay, so the other thing that you can do, there's 2 in here that you can currently edit. One is Fathom offers and one is mortgage. The mortgage one links to our Encompass lender, which is perfect. But if you have a lender that you wanted to link to instead, you would just come in and put their information in here instead. And then Fathom offers currently links to the Zavvy offers. And if you wanted to link to something else, you could do that as well. You can also remove them or change the order of them to be wherever you want. If I don't want custom search in there anymore, which I don't, I can take it out and I can also delete these. Okay. Your footer menu, this is the one that's at the very bottom of your page. If you want to have footer information there, then I could drag and put those same menu items in my footer. So that if someone's at the bottom of my page, they can click on those same links. And you can customize those menus to be whatever you want. So that's a lot of information in an hour and a half. So a lot for you guys to take in. As you get into this and you have questions, feel free to reach out to me. The other place to reach out to, and I'll put that here, is calendly.com/Fathom training. calendly.com/fathom training. And if you go in and click on this website management, you can set up a one-on-one training from Fathom. They'll come in and train you or help you or answer questions or do whatever you need in order to get your website totally set up. And if you have questions about IntelliAgent in general, you can set up the other two as well if you need that training. Agent services, their phone number, they're always happy to help you as well. You can email or call them at any point in time, and they'll help you with those questions. And then your district directors will be happy to help you as much as we can. What questions did I not answer that I need to?
The only thing I'm having trouble with is for some reason my email's not working. And it
In your
says it's not
settings?
even found. Like if I go in to log in and you're supposed to log in with your email.
Oh, okay. So that's one for agent services.
Okay.
Agent services will be able to help you with that. Let me see if I can grab that phone number for you real quick. Maybe.
Is that
I'll
just,
get it to you, Vonda, unless Georgia has it off the top of her head.
It's 877-661-1977.
got it. Thank you.
I put it in the chat for you, and it's option one. So just call them and they'll be able to help you figure out what your login information is for the IntelliAgent site.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Other questions? Okay, I'll turn it back over to you, Don.
Yeah, and you guys, what we'll do is we'll, Jeff showed you how you get live trainings. You can also go into Fathom Wiki and type in websites, and you'll see that there's all kinds of trainings, all kinds of videos and whatnot. And so that's another avenue if you learn well from watching videos. And the nice thing about the videos is you can stop them at any point. You can go back, rewind, whatever. So that's another option. But we wanted, most people learn best by having kind of a live training where they can ask questions or kind of see it for themselves with a live person there. So that's why we wanted to do this today, and we'll do it again. We'll give it a couple of weeks, and then we'll, maybe have a part two where hopefully give you all a chance to set up your websites, and then we can do something maybe a little more advanced and make sure that you all have those websites set up correctly the way you want them. Okay.
I have another question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, on that Calendly and phone number that you guys gave last, is it on the chats? I don't see it, and I just like to have those two things if possible.
Yeah.
So I put the phone number in. I will put the other link in for you.
Thank you. That would be great.
Yeah, he'll put it in the chat box. Calendly.com/Fathom training. That's it.
And I also linked a YouTube video. It took me a while to find it on the wiki and in the academy, but the link that I gave to the YouTube goes to a really great overview. It's fast. He goes through it even faster than I did. But the nice thing is you'll be able to pause it and kind of follow along at your own pace, that video for just a general setup again.
Yep. So we want you guys, this is something that Fathom provides free of charge. You guys, I've never seen another company that provides not just a free website, but a free website that is totally customizable the way that you want to make it. So, and once again, remember Jeff put in the chat box, if you want somebody to do it for you, then for $399, you got somebody that will do it. So save your pennies, save a little money out of your next closing or something, and that can happen too. So I know there are a lot of people that like somebody else to do it. So whatever works best for you. Okay. So Anybody have any other questions or anything? We really appreciate you being here. We know it's a lot to digest, but how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time, okay? So keep on, learning every day, learn a little bit more every day, and you'll be amazed in even 30 days how much you've learned in those 30 days. That is going to help your business, help you to do better business, help you to do more business. So anyway.
Before you
right.
end on, let me just say, if you're overwhelmed with this whole thing, the site that you get out of the box is a great one. It's easy. It does what most clients are going to want to do, which is search properties. So all you really need to focus on is going to your website settings and putting your personal information in. And if that's all you do, you'll still have a fantastic site right out of the box. You don't have to do anything else.
Don't have to customize it. You
Nope.
can use the generic version that they give you, but you do want to go in and change all your contact information and whatnot so that they're not calling our South Carolina office. Okay. So anyway, thank you, Jeff, for that. All right. Just a reminder, we do have Forbes and Free for All Fridays tomorrow at 11. And then on Tuesdays, we have lunch break Tuesdays at 12 noon. And then next Thursday, we'll have, of course, our Tech Tip Thursdays again. So we appreciate you guys supporting these classes. We'll keep doing them as long as we have agents supporting them. And we appreciate you being part of our Fathom family. Okay. So thanks so much, everybody. Have a wonderful day. And call us if there's any way that we can serve you. Okay.
Thank you, Don. Thank you, Georgia. Thank you, Jeff. And thanks to everybody for being on the call today.
Of course. Thank you, Bill.
Thanks.
All
Bill.
right. Have a great day, everybody. Bye-bye.